experience is always better in a group. The Christian experience doubly so. We are just a group of gamers that love to talk about life, God, and video games in no particular order. So whether you're a newbie or a grizzled agent like us, we want to help each other roll the level.
Welcome to another edition of the Roll the Level podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm so excited to dive into today. With me today is my good friend Sarah. Dame is away, but Sarah, you're here with me today. How you doing?
I am great. You?
I'm doing very well, actually. I'm quite caffeinated already this morning, so that's
You've
quite
been up
wonderful.
long enough to be caffeinated.
Well, I've been up and down and up again, so we're good.
Oh, no.
It's good. Today, I am excited, actually, because I get to, both of us actually get to talk about one of our little passion projects that we have on the side, amongst the many other things going on in life.
Yeah.
And that is Extra Life,
Yay.
which is a fundraiser we do every year to help sick kids all over the world. And it's an incredible, incredible thing. Can you share a little bit about what Extra Life is, Sarah? Do you mind throwing in your 2 cents on that?
Sure.
Awesome.
So it's a charity event that happens on the first November weekend every year. And what it is people sign up to play video games for 24 hours straight.
Yeah, to do.
Yes, we do.
That's right. That's right.
To raise money for their local or their supported sick kids hospital. So they can have, the money to take care of the kids or find to do research for the kids, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful cause. And
It
this
is.
is our 5th year.
It is. This is this is the 5th anniversary. Wow. We're getting
I know,
old.
right?
It's good. But what got you into Extra Life originally? What was kind of the thing that pulled you in?
So I was interested in doing it. Like, I knew about it for years. It's been going on, oh my gosh, like 11 years now, I think, or something.
In Canada,
10,
yeah, I think so. I'm actually going to Google that while we're talking.
So I knew about it forever. Like, a lot of outlets I know and follow were doing it. I was like, oh, that's such a good idea, but I don't want to do it by myself. Like, that just seems kind of lonerish. So eventually, like, you figured it out. You're like, hey, I heard about this thing. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I've heard about it too. Let's do this. So yeah, we got a couple people together and we did it. And it's like, this is awesome. And I love the hospital. I owe them a lot for the help they've given me. So I am happy and proud to do it every year. Yeah,
absolutely. So it looks like they started in 2008. I don't know if that's when it started in Canada,
cool.
But I know that,
years,
it picked up shortly thereafter. I mean, as soon as gamers have something to rally behind, they're pretty good about jumping on board.
I'm not going to talk about the payment options for Canada because those still suck.
Well, they're a little confusing.
Other than that, I'm happy it's been here for that long.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. I got an Extra Life, well, again, same time, I've always been passionate about volunteer stuff and diving into different things, and the opportunity to bring something I love and use it to help others. I mean, that's just awesome in and of itself. Like, I mean, that's the dream right there, right? So that was kind of the big reason I jumped in, and I actually helped out. I think it was maybe my second year. I helped out with the McMaster's Hospital Guild.
I remember
for a couple
that.
of years. Yeah, and that was really good. Kind of gave me an insider's. Yeah, exactly. That's great. I got like an insider's perspective on what the hospital does and things like that. It was really, really unique experience. So it's good. So when are you guys doing Extra Life for yourselves? We
are, my family, so me, husband and Lucas, are doing it November 7th at 7 a.m. That's right. Crazy hour.
That's good. And we're actually doing it the day before because of my work schedule, which is great. And it's funny because we're all on the same team, but we're doing it at different times.
But I get to poke you.
That's true. It's good. It'll be good. You can have us on the background the whole time. You'll be our one concurrent viewer. It'll be great. But what are you guys playing this year, actually, just out of curiosity? Sorry, this is not really what I want to talk about, but I am curious about what you're playing this year.
I stopped myself playing more Fall Guys because I almost maxed out the season 2 already.
Oh my word.
So I was like, okay, I have to save this for Extra Life. So Fall Guys.
Okay.
I plan to set up Jackbox for my family to play together. I play Rock Band every year in the middle of the night to keep me awake.
Nice.
My sister and I started a tradition last year where she comes over and she will play a scary game with me. So last year, like, I don't even know, 2 a.m. we were playing Amnesia, and we were like Oh, not her. I was screaming in the basement out of fear. So I'm excited to do that. Most of it is me setting up and helping Lucas do all the games and stuff, and making sure the stream. I play the game of making the stream work.
Yeah, understood.
So that is a game unto itself. But yeah, how about you?
True. So I also play the stream game of trying to balance it all while there's 6 people in my basement. But it should be
happy internet.
It should be an interesting adventure this year. Actually, I do have a dedicated streaming PC this year, so that is both exciting and a little daunting because I've never run it that way. So it'll be kind of interesting to do that. But I'm actually planning on playing through all of Doom Eternal's DLC.
Oh, cool. Have you not played it yet?
No, I fired up the first, like, just to kind of skip some of the base stuff because I want to jump right in and start shooting stuff. So I played like literally to the first checkpoint. And then I was like, all right, that's good enough. I'm going to leave it and I'm going to wait and I'm going to go through it. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. Planning on leveling a tune through WoW.
That was a bugger this year, but yeah.
Yeah, new leveling system's pretty slick. I've been leveling a shaman, like, just as a, I've got an hour here, an hour there, and I mean I'm already at level 32 of 50, so it's a pretty slick system. And I love that you just pick an expansion and spend all your time.
Yeah, I gotta resub because I usually play that during Extra Life 2 for hours. I usually start a new tune every Extra Life.
That's right.
So everybody gets to see the
honestly,
Silver
this
Moon
time around,
aisle.
you could probably get all the way through it. So yeah,
that's crazy.
Legit, I think you could easily level 1 to 50. Well, it's actually 10 to 50 unless you intentionally do like the new starting area stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's set up so like if you've maxed a tune, then you can skip the whole first 10 levels. So you really only have to level 40. It's like I say, it's a pretty streamlined system. They got all this cool new stuff. Like at level 30 you get flying mounts and everywhere, but BFA and Legion maybe I think you don't get them. But everywhere else you get flying mounts, so it's great for expansion running.
Just something else to set up. Hopefully my computer has space.
Oh yeah, it'll be good. Well, at least you don't have COD installed. If you did, you'd need a whole new hard drive.
Did you see that the new one requires 250 gigs?
I'm not surprised, shocked, or
that is crazy.
Well, I am appalled by it. I think it's ridiculous. Especially for people that are like downloading the free, just the battle royale.
Yeah, exactly. The Warzone is like.
Yeah. So why does it need to take this much space? I'm not going to buy your game. I just want to play the free one. I'm cheap. So it's good. So why do you keep doing this thing every year? Why do you keep doing Extra Life? Because I don't know about you, but I am finding that as I get older, it is getting harder and harder to do 24 hours. Like everybody's like, oh, it's just an all nighter, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like you start at 7 in the morning and you go till 7 in the morning. It's not an all nighter. I do all nighters all the time. This is a whole other beast. So like, why do you keep doing this thing?
I wrote that exact same bullet point. It's like it does not get easier.
Right? Oh man, yeah.
I think I'm so happy to see grow with us every year. Like we get more people to help us out every year, and so they can raise money for sick kids, and it just grows awareness for the charity. And for just like hanging out together and playing together in general. It's just such a great experience and a great way to share what the charity is all about. And like I said before, I owe them a lot. Like I used to support the Sick Kids Hospital, which is where I was diagnosed with my eye condition, which was like such a long road, and they finally like concluded. It was like, thank you so much. Like I feel so happy to do it for them. But now I've switched over to doing McMaster Hospital, just because I have a connection to them too. Like they helped out both my sisters.
Yes.
So it's true. Like I'm grateful for them too. So I want to support them now. So I go back and forth. But either way, I'm so happy supporting the places that have helped me in the past for sure.
Yeah. So
absolutely. I'm happy to come back everywhere and every time and try to stay awake.
Yeah, absolutely. True. Yeah, all of the coffee all of the time. So it's good. I'm bringing the coffee machine right downstairs to my office, and we're just going to make coffee for 24 hours. So
keep it coming.
But I love doing this. I mean, there's a selfish part of this too. I love gaming, and like having 24 hours of uninterrupted gaming with my friends is really fun. I love the community aspect of that. And we got a new guy jumping in this year with us, which would be really great. And some of the guys from last year are able to do the full 24 hours this time. So I'm really looking forward to that. We got a little D&D one-shot campaign in there we're doing and all sorts of fun stuff. But
excited to watch.
Yeah, but the other side of this that I really, one of the reasons I keep doing this every year is it's an incredible reminder to kind of step back from myself and acknowledge and realize there's a whole lot more going on in the world than I have to deal with on a regular basis. And I find that in doing that, it helps me kind of refocus and check myself and make sure I'm on task and focused and on mission and things like that. Like this is just one more way of kind of that self-check of like, no, I want to make sure that I'm helping others because that's actually the call. That's what we're called to. And that got me thinking, even as we were talking about this episode and you'd pitched the idea of like, hey, why don't we talk a little bit about Extra Life? Because it's such a great cause. I'm like, yes, I love this. And as I was kind of processing that, I got going, there is something deeper than even just raising money to help kids, which is amazing in and of itself. But there is a philosophy in this of battling selfishness with selflessness. And I want to get into that a little bit this morning. Because, we live in a very, it's interesting. Everybody says we live in a very narcissistic world. Everybody's focused on self. I think we've always lived in a narcissistic world. Like that's Adam and Eve. That's sin, right? Yeah. That's what brought sin into the world, was focused on self. I think we just have better tools for expressing that narcissism than we probably ever had. I can now express how narcissistic I am on a global scale, for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And so I think we're just acknowledging it more because it's so much, we can expose it so much more.
Right.
And it's funny because I've never gone to, I've never had a conversation with someone who may be narcissistic, and I'm in the same boat. I struggle with that as well. I've never seen a conversation go where like, hey, you're a narcissist, and magically they just sort of like, oh, I'm no longer going to do this. I'm going to help others. Because I don't think, just addressing and acknowledging it actually is the root issue. And I want to talk about that because I think we need to acknowledge this more as people. Like if you're all fed up with the way, how selfish the world is and stuff like that, the only real solution to that, and we see this in Christ, is to be selfless, to set an example and a standard of selflessness. And in doing so, when you start putting others first, it dramatically changes your heart and the way you think and interact and stuff like that. Have you ever had that experience in your own life where like you get so focused on yourself and then you just shift gears? And I'll share stories as well. So this isn't just, pick on Sarah or anything. I'm just curious if you've had that experience where you've like actively acknowledged like, holy crap, when I focus on others first, it changes my own heart and my own perspective.
For sure. Like probably many more times than I can currently think of.
Okay, that's fair.
But like, well, in order of Extra Life, it's like, video games seems like such a selfish endeavor. Like I play mostly single player games, and that's me spending my time not wanting to deal with anybody else.
Yeah, I understand.
Do not interrupt me. So I like doing Extra Life to be like, okay, I am putting all this effort in to set up and make sure everything's ready so that we can, as a team, express how much we want to help this charity. And it's yes, it is fun to do it for ourselves, but we are taking something that used to be selfish for ourselves and can share it with others. Yeah,
you're redeeming a culture essentially.
Right? Yeah, and same ultimately with serving in the church. It's like I am 100%. What is the word? I'm 100% blanking on the word, but I like to.
I'm 100%.
Oh my gosh.
Not sure what the word is.
But I am not a people person whatsoever. So which may look very selfish. But when it comes to like serving, I don't want to be the greeter. I don't want to be the person that is like that you see when you walk in the door, not the kids. Like, I don't want to teach your kids. That may sound horrible. I have my own child. But
no, I get it. 100%.
But that may seem super selfish. And I just need to find somewhere where I can fit in, I think was the problem. So sometimes it may look selfish, but really it's not. I do want to help. So for me, you pitched the idea of working on the kids team doing video editing. I was like,
Yes,
that's something I could do. That is something I can do. I don't have to like be the face of it, but I can work in the background, take a bunch of time, probably more time than I should, trying to make these videos just to be pristine.
I was gonna say that's your perfectionism. It's like, no, I gotta move this one
it
more frame.
leaks through. Like I make that whole video, I render it, and then I watch it again to check if it's perfect, and I find one mistake. Oh, gotta go fix that one mistake, and it takes me another like half an hour.
And that's why I recruited you for this team.
So, but it is so much time. But when I'm making these videos, I feel like I am growing God's kingdom by trying to make them like pop for kids to love, and like to just do these little quirky things to try and keep people engaged. And I'm like, yes, these kids will watch these in church, and they will have their leaders to talk about it, and they can grow in it. And it's like, I may not be the face, I may not be that person, but I am working in the background being selfless, because all my time goes to making those videos.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's a key component in this whole thing too. And that's why I think, again, serving is so crucial and important, but finding something you're passionate about in serving, so that passion you can take your passion, your energy, and give it to others, essentially. Exactly. That's an incredible gift, and B, it keeps us passionate about serving. Which battles that selfishness a little bit, I think, too, of, well, it's all about me and what I want and stuff like that. It's like, no, I'm gonna actually take all of that passion and things I love, and I'm gonna give those to someone else as a gift.
Yeah, because I would like, because you were doing it at first, and then you taught me, so then I can learn to do it, and then it can grow. Like, more people can do it, and instead of me hoarding all this information, I could share it with somebody else that wants to do the videos and my little tips and tricks and stuff. And it's like, it just grows the knowledge base, and you just want to teach others. Like, it just kind of works through you kind of. It's like what happens when you're doing it, you don't even notice. Even it's just like, I want to share this kind of thing. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's why, I kind of shake my head sometimes when I hear people tell me like, well, I'm not feeling fed at my church, or I'm not feeling engaged with my church. And I'm going, well, A, are you connecting with your church? Are you in a life group? Are you in whatever that looks like, some type of discipleship format? But the other big question is, are you serving?
Yeah.
Are you actually engaging in the mission of bringing people into the kingdom of God and introducing them to Jesus? Like, that is a huge question. I always like to throw at people who are like, well, I don't feel like my church is feeding me. And I'm going, well, don't get me wrong, there might be some teaching elements there for sure. But I would always encourage people to start with the heart check, right? Of like, well, first of all, are you actively engaging with the community of Christ, at your church? Are you actively investing in other people? Are you actively serving? Because until you do that, all you're doing is you're actually overeating at that point, right? If you want to use that analogy of food, like, you're just sitting and consuming.
Nom, 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 nom.
Yeah, all the time. And I mean, if anybody's ever done a 24-hour gaming marathon, one of the worst things you can do is sit and eat the whole time while you're playing video games.
Please stand up and walk around.
That's right. You feel so gross.
Yeah.
It's so bad because all you're doing is consuming all the time, and you're not burning any of that energy. You're not leveraging all of those hopefully nutritional things that you're putting into you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's not always been the case when I've done Extra Life. There have definitely been years where we just ate junk food for 24 hours. Oh, it's terrible. Side note, I'm super excited this year because Pete, one of my good friends who's going to come and do Extra Life with us, his wife is like, don't worry, I'll take care of food. And when she says,
awesome.
And when she says, don't worry, I'll take care of food, it means we're going to eat like kings, and it'll be healthy and delicious. So
lucky guys.
I'm pretty stoked for that. But coming back to this whole idea of selfishness and consumerism and selflessness and serving, as Christ followers, we're actually, as soon as we accept Christ, we're actually supposed to flip gears and go on mission. Like, there's this misconception, I think, sometimes where you have to sit and just soak it all in first and make sure you're completely prepared for every situation before you can engage in serving others and loving others and bringing others into the kingdom. And that's just not the case.
No, I know from my own experience, it's like, I was one of those people that thought I need to know everything. Like, I can't get baptized unless I know everything, because how can I bring people into the kingdom if I'm not the most knowledgeable person about the Bible in the world?
Yeah.
But then later on, it's like, no, I'm constantly learning, and I am constantly becoming more like Jesus and reaching out, like without even knowing it. Like you don't fully experience the Christian life until you're doing. So I like that. It definitely helps. And then like reaching out to other people, they can teach you things that you didn't know about, like living a Christian life either. Like you can bounce off each other. It's true. It is such a growing experience that you don't need all the knowledge. It will come naturally with time. And some people just can't remember everything either. Like it is just living out the life is sometimes enough.
No, absolutely. And that's another important part of it is like this discipleship process that we go through is an active process.
Yes.
Even when Jesus called the disciples, it was like, come follow me. You need to drop what you're doing and come do this thing with me. And I mean, that's very much the early turn of, wow, brain dying.
Exactly.
That is very much the early Jewish culture with the rabbis. Was like, when you were called to follow a rabbi, you did whatever the rabbi did. Like it was this, you basically became a copycat of the rabbi. And so, if the rabbi washed his hands 16 times a day, you washed your hands 16 times a day, right? Which we should all be doing. If they sat on the steps and preached from the steps, like it was literally this, you are my shadow type of mentality. And when we look at the life of Christ, that was the call of the disciples is you go do what I do, like to the point where he sent them out to go perform miracles and cast out demons.
Yeah.
And because it was this active process. And
it's not like,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. It's not like they're reading every day about the Bible either. They are consuming it by listening to it and living it.
Absolutely.
Because they couldn't read.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of them couldn't.
But they were still performing miracles and they didn't know everything. So.
No, it's true. And so coming back to us, that's the call, right? Is that as Christ followers, we can't just sit in the chairs and consume for an hour on Sunday and maybe a midweek podcast or whatever. It is an active, engaged, everyday process of loving others into the kingdom and directing them to Jesus and serving others. We're never going to combat this narcissistic culture by just talking about it. We are only going to make an impact when we are selflessly serving those around us, because selflessness is just as contagious as selfishness.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been doing the kids videos, and the unit right now is spiritual disciplines.
Yeah, it is.
And it's like, man, I've been learning so much just editing these videos. And it's such a great reminder that doing these spiritual disciplines of serving, worship, reading, praying, eventually sometimes you have to intentionally do these things. Some of them you wake up in the morning, you're like, this is not the day to do it. Yeah. But sometimes you just gotta suck it up and intentionally do them, and eventually they become second nature without you even knowing. So you keep serving. Sometimes I'd rather play video games than edit the video for hours, but I don't, because it is a spiritual discipline to do this, to take my selfless time. And eventually it becomes I can't, I love doing these videos. I love making them for the kids and serving. It just starts coming naturally to you.
You hit two really awesome points. One we've touched on, but I want to circle back to, and it was this idea that's why when you serve, it's so important to serve from your passion and the things that you love. Don't get me wrong, it is good in a short term setting to just step in and do a thing.
Oh, for sure, and try new things too. You don't know if you like them until you try them.
Well, that's just it too, right? And that's why I love our test drive Sundays that we do with our ministries, and that's a whole other discussion. But there is something to be said about serving from passion, because when you're tired, when you're have had a rough day, that passion can carry you further sometimes than just doing a thing out of obligation. And the second part of that I love that you just hit on was this idea that you have to create good habits. Right? You can't just get rid of something. You have to fill it with something. So you can't just get rid of narcissistic behavior by, I'm not going to be a narcissist. I'm not going to be a narcissist. Mantra. You actually have to fill it with selfless living. And giving to others and serving others for the sake of Christ. This is a key component as Christ followers.
Yes,
is that sure. Don't just go serve for the sake of serving. You serve because we want them to know Jesus. You want them to come into the kingdom. You've got to have the Father's heart about this stuff. Because if you don't, the other reality is you'll burn out.
You're just acting at that point.
Yeah, well, that's just it, right? Like you will burn out, and so as you engage in serving, and I want to be careful on how I say this because I don't want you to think that, oh, I've got to wait until I've got a broken heart for people before I can serve. No, don't do that. But when you're serving, be intentional about praying and saying, God, give me your heart for this person or these people that I find difficult or I struggle with or I don't necessarily connect with. It's this active thing of doing and praying and serving and loving, and it all works together, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But it does require us to step up and step out, and that's important. So yeah, man, good talk. Anything else you want to add to that before we wrap it up?
No, this has been a learning experience, just in all, like a daily reminder that I need, especially when I'm editing the videos. It's like spiritual disciplines. Yes, this is the great thing, and it's always something to come back to that I love learning about every time I'm doing the video. So it was on my mind recently.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's good, man. Those kids' videos, like, no jokes, are pretty much amazing. The teaching stuff in them is awesome. The editing is great. Like, our team, we've got a very small team, but you guys are passionate, and it comes out, and it's great.
Thanks. Yeah, it's so fun. I love doing it.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us for our episode of Roll the Level. We will post, this is a little bit of a plug, shameless plug. We will post our Extra Life team link, and you can support us there if you want. We would love that. That's it. You can find us on all of the social medias. Are we actually on Instagram? I know I threw that out last week.
We have an account.
Okay.
It isn't empty, but it's there.
Okay. We should probably do some of that. We are on Twitter though, and Facebook. We post there all the time. All of our content is on YouTube. And then you can find our podcast obviously wherever you get your podcasts, or you can go to podbean.com. And that's basically how you can connect. But yeah, exactly. It's good. So anyway, guys, we'll talk to you next time on Roll the Level.